You know that black peppercorn shaker on your kitchen table? Have you ever, really looked at it? It seems so simple, right? So ordinary. But believe me, that tiny little spice has a secret history. We're talking an epic tale of medicine, money, and empires that literally changed the world. So let's get into it.
It's a wild question, I know. How could this one little thing build entire empires? But that's exactly what we're going to unpack here. We're going to see how the crazy demand for this one small spice from India fueled exploration, started wars, and made people unbelievably rich. And it all started with a simple vine in a forest.
All right, so our story kicks off in the lush green forests of Kerala, India. This is the birthplace, the original home of what would become known as the king of spices, the black peppercorn. But long before it was used for seasoning food, it was something totally different. It was powerful medicine. I mean, we're talking for over 4,000 years. Black pepper was a huge deal in Ayurvedic tradition. This wasn't just about adding a little kick to a meal. No, it was a serious tool for wellness. Doctors prescribed it for everything from coughs and colds to pretty serious digestive problems. And that medicinal power, that was its first real claim to fame. So you might be wondering, how does a medicine become one of the world's first most sought-after luxury items? Well, the secret got out. As trade routes started to form, word of pepper's unique, punchy flavor and its amazing health benefits spread way beyond India. And just like that, it became this massive object of desire. Its value became so ridiculously high that traders back in ancient Rome and Egypt actually gave it a nickname, black gold. And trust me, that was not an exaggeration. The name was a direct reflection of its insane price, which was all driven by how rare it was and the incredibly dangerous journey it took to get it from India all the way to the Mediterranean. Now, what's so fascinating here is just how they treated this stuff. We're not just talking about an expensive ingredient for food. Oh no, kings and the super wealthy would literally lock it up in their vaults, right next to their actual gold. People used it as currency. You could buy land with it. For the traders, that terrifying months-long journey to India's Malabar coast was totally worth it for the mind-boggling profits they could rake in. Just stop and think about that for a second. Can you imagine your landlord being like, "All right, rent's due. That'll be half a pound of peppercorns." It sounds completely nuts to us, but in medieval Europe, this was real life. This really shows you how deeply pepper was woven into the economy of the world. It wasn't just a spice, it was wealth. So, with this immense value came a huge problem, especially for Europe. See, the overland trade routes were super long, super dangerous, and controlled by all these middlemen who jacked up the prices even higher. So the big European powers in the 15th century got desperate. They started this frantic search for a direct sea route to get to the source. This wasn't just about trade, it was a global race that would kick off the entire age of exploration. This timeline really puts it all into perspective, right? You see the thousands of years pepper was just used locally in India. Then you see the ancient trade with Rome and Egypt. But that jump in the 15th century, that is the game changer. That urgent, desperate hunt for a direct route, which all leads to one of the most important voyages in all of human history. And here it is, the pivotal moment. In 1498, a Portuguese explorer, Vasco da Gama, finally did it. He landed in Calicut, right on the Malabar coast. Now get this, he wasn't there for gold, he wasn't there for silks. His number one mission, the whole reason for that incredibly dangerous trip, was to get his hands on black pepper, straight from the source. And that arrival, it would change the course of Indian history forever. Well, da Gama's success basically opened the floodgates. As soon as that direct sea route was established, the race for pepper turned into a brutal, all-out fight for control. This wasn't just about business anymore. This was about cornering the market on this incredible wealth, which, as you can probably guess, led to a whole lot of conflict and colonization. And his whole competition played out in stages. First up, you had Portugal, the pioneers who found the route. But they were pretty quickly challenged by the Dutch, who fought tooth and nail to create a total monopoly. And then, finally, the British jumped into the ring. This intense, centuries-long rivalry over a single spice was a major reason that led directly to the eventual colonization of India. So after all that, all the history, the conflict, the exploration, how did we get from there to here? How did this priceless black gold that built empires become the simple, everyday thing we all have on our tables? Okay, let's bring this story full circle.
What's pretty amazing is that today, the story of pepper continues right where it all started. India is still one of the world's biggest producers, and Kerala is still the heartland where it's grown. Its journey is kind of complete, from a rare medicine to a king's treasure, and now it's used in kitchens all over the planet. Well, by the way, still being used in modern medicine too.
And really, that's the whole story in a nutshell. The next time you twist that pepper grinder, just take a second to remember the unbelievable history packed into that tiny little spice. From a vine in a forest in Kerala, to the treasure vaults of kings, to the ships of explorers, black pepper didn't just season our food. It truly, deeply shaped the world we all live in today.